IORA Business and Trade Facilitation Workshop, it aims to bring together industry, academic experts through a blend of presentations and interactive sessions. For more on boosting trade, we are joined by Brian Clark. Now, he's the chair of IORBF Australia. Brian, thanks so much for making the time to join us. I do understand that this workshop is currently underway. What is top of mind? What is on the agenda at the moment?
Well, it's a two-day session. It's covering off clearly on business and trade facilitation issues for the region, so not just Africa or Australia, but all of the countries in the region, to provide the Secretariat with some background material in the lead up to the ministerial meeting, which will be happening in Perth in Australia in the first weeks of October this coming year.
Brian, we've seen a lot of groups or groups that have been formed. So we're looking, for example, at the EAC, ECOWAS, and now you've got the IORA. What is the difference between all of these groups, and perhaps are you finding it very difficult to get synergies between the different countries if you're all working towards the same aim?
Well, I think there's a number of different groups, as you're pointing out, but the Indian Ocean Rim Association has been in existence now for more than a decade and has been an active forum of governments through the Ministries of Foreign Affairs usually to contemplate the area and the countries which are surrounding the Indian Ocean and its rims. So some of the other groups you've mentioned don't cover some of the eastern areas, and this provides the infrastructure for that. And from an Australian perspective, it provides us with policy equivalents to the Asia-Pacific region, which has very strong institutional frameworks, and we're looking to build these up in the Indian Ocean Rim as well, so that from an Australian perspective, our westward interests are represented through business and government forums in an appropriate way.
Brian, let's talk about the kind of progress that you've made, because last year you had the Economic and Business Conference that took place around the same time last year rather. What type of tangible differences or gains have you made since you've been having these conferences or summits?
Well, you're quite right. The ministers meet on an annual basis, and then around that is business and academic forums. Last year, the first economic discussion took place in a structured form, which was held here in Mauritius, and there were 15 recommendations came from that. They were then accepted by the business forum and ultimately fed into the ministerial discussions, and the same thing is planned again for this year in our Perth meetings, and we'd like to see an upswing in trajectory so that as the rotation of chairs occurs from Australia through to Indonesia, then South Africa, and now UAE, as we understand it, over the next 8 years or so, that there's an improving dialogue. We're working on issues clearly on trade facilitation, and that's very topical at the moment, but also on the movement of people and trying to ease the arrangements for business crossing borders so that business can more easily take advantage of opportunities when they see them, and business people can travel in and out of economies much more easily. And we're looking forward to a really strong work program on that. Of course, the Indian Ocean Rim Association also has an aspirational free trade area of the Indian Ocean too, and we're keenly awaiting discussions with the governments on how such a thing would progress, but it's really important that we do that. This is one of the most important economic regions of the world, and it's not had the same institutional frameworks that other regions have had, so we see it as really important and are looking forward to the future work program.
You mentioned there that you are waiting for some clarity from the government. Can you perhaps maybe give us an indication as to when do you expect you would be able to hear from them so that you have the correct framework in place in order to forge the way forward?
Well, there's an annual reporting program where the ministers get together through the Ministries of Foreign Affairs usually, but now increasingly the trade ministries and trade promotions organisations are also beginning some dialogue. So it obviously takes time to build up the frameworks and the confidence around these, but this is one of the more important ones, and each year it grows in stature, and we're really hopeful that with the support of the business community that we can assist the governments to really hone down what's achievable and rather than having a very large agenda which is too hard to work on, that maybe breaking it down into some important initiatives in the short term will be important steps to building the confidence over the region in the longer term.